Good morning, students. Hope you are all fine and maintaining good health. Now, under history, we'll move on into lesson 5, social and religious reform movement of 19th century. The 18th century is noted for industrial revolution in world countries. A major changes occurred in the method of production that changed the history of humankind. Followed by this, the British came to India as traders and slowly they colonized our country and started ruling us. The Britishers started to settle in India. The influence of Western ideas and spread of Christianity is creating a new awakening in the 19th century British India. In this lesson, we learn about what are the reform movements and how they made changes in the life of the people and society. First one, introduction of English education produced a new English educated middle class. The educated middle class began to take a lead in political as well as in reform movements. During the time of British, people learned English education and they started to make reforms in the society. Their ideas and their actions help to mitigate social evils such as sati, that is, forcing a wife after the death of husband's funeral pyre, that is sati, female infanticide, killing of girl babies at the time of birth, and child marriage, that is, marrying at early ages, and were various superstitious beliefs. So these are the action taken by the reform movements. The reform movements of 19th century in the realm of religion fall under two broad categories, that is reformist movement like Brahma Samaj, the Prarthana Samaj and the Aligarh movement, and the revivalist movement such as Arya Samaj, Ramakrishna Mission and the Deoband movement, that is reformist and revivalist. These are the two categories of movements. There were also attempts to challenge the oppressive social structure by Jyotiba Phule in Pune, Narayana Guru and Ayyan Kale in Kerala, and Ramalinga Adigal and Ayodhidasar of Tamil Nadu. So in this we'll see one by one. First one, Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Brahma Samaj. Raja Ram Mohan Roy was one of the earlier reformers influenced by the Western ideas to initiate reforms. He was a great scholar and well versed in Sanskrit, Arabic, Persian, and English language, apart from his mother tongue of Bengali. So he was talented in many languages. Ram Mohan Roy was opposed to meaningless religious ceremonies and all form of pernicious social customs. That is, he was opposed. Raja Ram Mohan Roy was opposed to meaningless ceremonies followed by the people and as well as the pernicious social custom, that is all superstitious beliefs. He was deeply influenced by monotheism and anti-idolatry. Monotheism, worshipping one god. Mono means single. Anti-idolatry, idolatry, making idols for god and goddess, and he was against that. That's the meaning, anti-idolatry. Deeply concerned with the prevailing customs of sati, child marriage and polygamy. Polygamy, marrying many times. He published tracts against them and petitioned the government to legislate against these kind of social evils. His campaign played a key role in forcing Governor General William Bentinck's legislation of abolishing sati in 1829. That is, after his campaign, the British Governor General William Bentinck made a legislation against this sati, abolition of sati in 1829. He strongly advocated education for women and he gave his full support for the introduction of English language and Western science in schools and colleges. And Ram Mohan Rai, he founded a Brahma Samaj on 20th August 1828. So he started a reform movement. It is called as Brahma Samaj. He opened a temple in Calcutta where there was no image. Without any image, he opened a temple and he called the people of every religion to come and worship. The Samaj forbade idol worship and condemned meaningless religious rites and ceremonies. This Brahma Samaj people, and they forbade, that is, they were against this idol worship, and they condemned all meaningless religious practices done by the people during the festivals. Brahma Samaj remained limited to the intellectuals and enlightened Bengalis, that is, those who were highly educated. They only follow this kind of principles under this Brahma Samaj in the Bengal region. That is about our Raja Ram Mohan Rai. So considering Raja Ram Mohan Rai, he was a great scholar, he was talented in many languages, and he was basically, he condemned the social religious practice of people. That is, he was for years deeply influenced by monotheism and anti-idolatry, and he was against this sati, child marriage and polygamy, and he started this Brahma Samaj in 1828, and he influenced the people to follow this principle. That is about Rajaram Mohan Rai. The next personality is Maharishi Debendranath Tagore. This Maharishi Debendranath Tagore, he was the poet Rabindranath Tagore's father. Whether you remember our Rabindranath Tagore, one who wrote our Janagana Mana. He laid 4 articles of faith. In the beginning, there was nothing. The one supreme being alone existed who created the universe. That is, only one God, that is considered as a supreme, one who created the universe. He alone is the God of truth, infinite wisdom, goodness and power, eternal, omnipresent, the one without second. That is, the universal God will consider as a truth, one who provides infinite wisdom to the people, goodness and power, and is considered as a eternal and omnipresent. That is, only one God and without any other things. That is, one without second. Our salvation depends on belief in Him and His worship in this world and the next. Salvation, that is our Rakshipu. It depends on, we want to believe in Him, that in universal God, and we want to worship Him in this world, that is during our life and after our death. Belief consists in loving Him and doing His will. That is, we want to love Him and do His will. As per His will, we want to do all our work. These are the 4 articles of faith laid by Maharishi Debendranath Tagore. The third person under our Brahma Samaj was Keshav Chandra Sen. Keshav Chandra Sen joined this Brahma Samaj movement in 1857. In 1866, a split occurred in the ranks of Brahma Samaj. That is, Keshav Chandra Sen, he left the Samaj and found a new organization. So he entered into this movement, and within some years he left this movement. That is, later Debendranath's organization thereafter came to be known as Adi Brahma Samaj. That is, the earlier we talk about Maharishi Debendranath, and his organization is considered as Adi Brahma Samaj, and those who follow this Keshav Chandra Sen, and they splitted, they came out of this movement. The next one, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. Another outstanding reformer in Bengal was Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. Vidyasagar also argued that the Hindu scriptures were progressive. That is, Hindu scriptures, that is our Vedas, are considered as progressive. He provided evidences from scriptures that there was no sanction for burning of widows. Regarding our sati, he provided the evidences from the scriptures. He wrote number of polemical tracts and was a pioneer of modern Bengali prose. He wrote many things and many tracts he distributed to the people, and he was considered as a pioneer of modern Bengali prose, pioneer to be first. And he made a Bengali prose in Bengal region. He dedicated his whole life for the betterment of the child widows of the Hindu society. So he was also against the sati, and he provided betterment for the child widows. The movement led by Vidyasagar resulted in the Widow Remarriage Reform Act of 1856. With the influence of Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, the British government introduced Widows Remarriage Reform Act of 1856. That is, the government sanctioned the marriage for the widows. So that is called Widow Remarriage Reform Act. That is about our Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. Then last person regarding our Brahma Samajis, that is the Prarthana Samaj, founded in Bombay region. That is similar to our Brahma Samaj. Another Samaj was founded, that is called as Prarthana Samaj, a movement founded in Bombay in 1867. Its founder was Dr. Atmarang Pandurang. The two distinguished members of this Samaj were R.C. Bhandarkar and Justice Mahadev Govinda Ranade. R.C. Bhatnagar and Justice Mahadev Govinda Ranade. And these two people, they devoted themselves to activities such as intercaste dining and intercaste marriages. So these people, they took this caste and they encourage intercaste dining, that is sitting along with the low caste people and eating. That's the meaning of intercaste dining. Then intercaste marriage, encouraging the youths to marry without any caste. Then widow remarriage and improvement of women and depressed classes. So depressed classes means poor people. Ranade was the founder of Widow Marriage Association. In 1861, he founded a Widow Marriage Association. So they were the people, they considered much about the widows because they were against this sati. The Pune Sarvajanik Sabha and Deccan Education Society. They found Purna Sarvajanik Sabha and Deccan Education Society for the betterment of the poor people, as well as they encourage intercaste things. So for that they founded Pune Sarvajanik Sabha. Okay, under this Brahma Samaj. So far we talk about our Raja Ram Mohan Rai, Maharishi Debendranath Tagore, Keshav Chandra Sen and Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. And lastly we talk about the Prarthana Samaj. It was founded in Bombay region. Other than Brahma Samaj, it was in the Bengal region. This Prarthana Samaj, it was in the Bombay region. Now we'll move into Hindu revivalism, that is revivalist movement of Hindu religion. First one, Swami Dayananda Saraswati and Arya Samaj. Arya Samaj was founded in 1875 by Swami Dayanand Saraswati, a wandering ascetic in the Western Gangetic plain. He settled in Punjab region to preach his ideas, and he wrote a book called Satyartha Prakash. It enjoyed wide circulation. The positive principles enunciated by Dayananda were strict monotheism, that is, worshipping a single God, and he condemned the idolatry and rejection of Brahmin domination of ritual and social practices. That is, he condemned idolatry, that is, keeping idol for God and goddess, and the rejection of Brahmin domination. Once in India, the Brahmins, they dominated all religious things in temples. They won't give chance for the other caste people. So it was also rejected by this Arya Samaj. He also rejected superstitious beliefs in Hinduism, and his cry was go back to Vedas, that is, go back to Vedas. So simply he called all Hindus to read Vedas. Whether you know how many Vedas are there? There are 4 Vedas: Rig, Yajur, Sama and Atharvana. This Arya Samaj attempt to check the incidence of religious conversion in British India. So now think about our early history of our India. Once in India, we have only Hindu people, they lived over our country. After that, the Arabs and Turkish, they invaded our country, and slowly they spread Islam religion in our country. So many people, that is from Hindu people, they converted themselves into Islamic. And after that, the British, they came to India, the missionaries, they came and they converted many people into Christianity. In that way, religion spread in our country. Now under our Arya Samaj, now these people, they made counter conversion, that is, they are reconverting them into Hinduism, prescribing a purificatory ceremony called Suddhi, directed at Hindus who had converted to Islam and Christianity. That is, those who converted to other religion, they forced to again reconvert into Hinduism. That is called Suddhi movement. It was done by our Swami Dayananda Saraswati. And this Arya Samaj people, they made many social changes as well as they spread education in our country. The Samaj, they started number of Dayananda Anglo-Vedic schools and colleges in and around our country. These are simply called as DAV. Whether you heard DAV public schools, like that, they've spread education to the people. That is our Arya Samaj under our Swami Dayanand Saraswati. The next person is Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Ramakrishna is a simple priest of Dakshineshwar near Kolkata. He was a priest in a temple in Calcutta, and he emphasized the spiritual union with God through ascetic practices such as singing bhajans. An ardent worshipper of goddess Kali, and he was a worshipper of Kali. Whether you heard about Kali? In his view, all religion contain the universal elements if practice would lead to salvation. That is, he forced people to follow universal elements and to practice, and that will lead to salvation. He said, Jiva is Shiva, that is, all living beings are God. Service for man must be regarded as God. That is, serving a man equivalent to serving to God. In that way, he emphasized, that is, Jiva is Shiva. The primary achievement of his ability to attract educated youths who were dissatisfied. So those who are educated youths, they follow these principles of Ramakrishna. After his death in 1886, his disciples organized themselves as a religious community. Okay, after the death of this Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, his disciples he organized a religious community. That is, Vivekananda established a Ramakrishna mission. Whether you heard about Swami Vivekananda, and he established this Ramakrishna mission. And this Ramakrishna mission, they actively involved in social causes such as education, health care, and relief in times of calamities. That is, any natural things occur, when if there is any flood or any earthquake occurs, they made some relief to the people. Not only this alone, they made many social work to the common people. That was done by our Ramakrishna mission. Ramakrishna mission was started by our Swami Vivekananda. Now we'll move into the next one, Swami Vivekananda. His original name is Narendranath Datta. Narendranath Datta was the prime follower of our Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He emphasized a cultural nationalism and made a call to Indian youths to regenerate Hindu society. His ideas bred a sense of self-confidence among Indians who felt inferior in relation to the materialist achievements of the West. That is, Swami Vivekananda's ideas made a great influence over the educated youths of India, and he developed self-confidence among Indians, and they consider inferior to the materialist achievements of the West. So with this idea, the educated youths, they overcome their inferior feelings. With this famous quotation, whether you remember, arise, awake, stop not till the goal is reached. Like that, he made influence to the educated Indians. And not only that alone, he became famous for his addresses on Hinduism at the 1893 World Congress of Religions in Chicago. There is a World Conference of Religion held in Chicago in USA in 1893. So all over the world countries, they represented their religion. In that, from India, we sent our Swami Vivekananda. So in that world conference, the Western people, they started with the word ladies and gentlemen, whereas our Vivekananda started his address with the word my dear brothers and sisters, and this word attracted the world people towards Vivekananda as well as towards our India. Despite his fame, he was condemned by Orthodox Hindus for suggesting that the lower caste should be allowed to engage in the Hindu rituals from which they were traditionally excluded. Even though he was a Brahmin, he encouraged all people to do religious rituals, and this was condemned by his own Orthodox family. Vivekananda's activities ideology rekindled the desire for political change among many Western educated young Bengalis. So this activities done by our Vivekananda rekindled the ideas of youths to participate in a political change among the Bengal region. The next movement is Theosophical movement. The Theosophical Society was founded by Madam H.P. Blavatsky and Colonel H.S. Olcott. Olcott and Madam H.P. Blavatsky. They founded this Theosophical Society in USA in 1875. It later shifted to India at Adyar, Chennai in 1886. So after 10 years, it was shifted to India in Chennai. Theosophical Society stimulated a study of the Hindu classics, especially the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita. So these are the people, they came from Western country and they settled in India and they encourage the people to read this Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita. In India, the movement became further popular with the election of Annie Besant as its president. So, in India, we consider Annie Besant as a president for the Theosophical Society, and she played a role in Indian nationalist politics and formed the Home Rule League, demanding home rule to India on the lines of Ireland. Actually, she belonged to Ireland. She came to India and she started a home rule league and demanding home rule to India. And this home rule movement, will talk about this in the national movement later. Annie Besant, she spread these theosophical ideas through her newspapers called New India and Commonwealth. She started a newspaper, and in that she wrote many things, and she made awakening in the society. So the two newspapers, that is New India and Commonwealth. That is about our Annie Besant. So in this class we talk about our Rajaram Mohan Roy under our Brahma Samaj. After Rajaram we have Maharishi Debendranath Tagore, Keshav Chandra Sen and Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, and we talk about Prarthana Samaj. Then we talk about Hindu revivalism under that Swami Dayananda Saraswati and Arya Samaj. Then Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Swami Vivekananda, and the last one Theosophical movement. Followed by this, you can see the life story of our Vivekananda. Thank you.